Word to your mother and your brother and your grandma. Ayo. So, this video here is of the genie, the Mayan Jinn Abaddon, and Zigzag, Mr. Intensity. Please check out this video. This is one of the only times I think I've not watched one all the way through. So yeah, I'm over halfway through. But because of where I'm at right now, and, and energetics and whatnot, I wanted to go ahead and make this. I don't really know where I'm going to go with this. We'll just see where we end up, you know. First and foremost, if ever I make any videos and someone doesn't want me to talk about them or show their face in my videos, hit me up, and I have no issue with taking that down, because I don't I don't want to offend anyone, but I also don't want to step on anyone's toes. And if someone's doing something for their own specific reason and purpose, and they wanted to want their presentation to be how they want it, and to be viewed how they want it, then I respect that. Especially because I only really do this with people that I have deep respect for, I have deep communion with. Like, even if I haven't really talked to these people like one-on-one, beyond fucking messaging and whatnot. These types of people are the people that the few that are like me. So I'm not gonna show people on here that I don't have anything in common with, or that still the type of people that still are going through a lot of their emotional drama and baggage and understanding. On levels of they're caught in loop programs. Like, I'm looking to connect with people who potentially, yeah, we're gonna still be on loop, some kind of loop cycles sometimes. But the thing is, like, we've become aware of it, and we've also done a tremendous amount of inner work. So yeah, these are two of my most fucking favorite guys here. These are two of my dudes. And so this was a pleasure, like, and I didn't expect the conversation to go where it did, but it was like, god damn. Essentially, it was like they were just a fucking exact mirror of myself here, with their experiences and some of the things they touched upon. So yeah, at first they just kind of like ask each other about how they got to where they were and everything, and essentially it was agreed upon. I stopped listening to the fucking narrative and I started figuring shit out for myself, and that everyone's gonna agree upon that. That's where we really made the switch, and it was like, fuck, okay, now it's time to get real. Fuck all this other bullshit. I'm gonna go within and realize shit for myself. So that was beautiful. And then Zigzag started talking about some dream experiences, some meditation experiences, and right now where they're at, they're talking about meditation experiences as well as the Abaddon is talking about some of his meditation as well as visuals, as well as uh, he named off a couple of the things that he's engaged with, and I think what he said was, and I'm sorry, I'm skipping around here everywhere, but that's just how it's going to be right now. But what did he say? Yerba mate, kava kava, mugwort. I take yerba mate every day instead of, like your fucking average energy drink or just something that adds caffeine into it. But I would recommend yerba mate. I also I mix yerba mate tea with, I think it's pronounced Gayusa. Those two are my base for my mix of a whole bunch of different kind of herbs. And you could say supplements, but it's more just a specific set of herbs. But that's the tea base and blend that I'm working with. And then more and more I keep being asked, what's in my blend, and it's like I keep responding like, man, there's so many things. Like it's gonna take, like, how long do you got? It's gonna take me a while here. But so yeah, it's just dependent upon what you're looking for, what kind of experience you're looking for. So if you're looking for more of a meditative, relaxing experience, yes, kava kava, yes. Sometimes it's pronounced kratom. I pronounce it kratom because that just feels right to me. That's just how I do with, certain pronunciations and whatnot. Like I feel the resonance, and if that feels right, then that's how I'm gonna pronounce it. And I don't give a fuck what Webster Dictionary tells me or what other people have to say about it. So yeah, if you're looking to relax, what I use personally, kava kava, kratom, sometimes some lotus extract, passion flower herb or extract. Let's see, what else? Nutmeg. Throw some nutmeg in there. And what else? It just depends. Like, you can throw mugwort in there if you're into dissolving your your perceptual awarenesses of the dream world and the wake world. Then mugwort is a very beneficial herb to use. But I also want to say, with some of the dream experiences and whatnot, with zigzag, whenever you talk about falling through like the bottom of your bed, like, yeah, I can tell you what that's about, but like, I don't like to tell people anything, because people's experiences are their experiences, and the most benefit is what people are going to feel from that, the feeling. So it doesn't matter what anyone tells you, like, oh no, this is what this meant, like, or your dream interpretations or whatnot. Like, if you choose to listen to these things and learn from them, but don't let them dictate your experience, because your experience is your fucking experience, okay? And there's going to be very, very few people in this world right now that we live in who are going to be able to relate with that. So just realize this. But I will say, Zigzag, I've experienced the exact same thing. There's not going to be very many things, and I may come off during this as like, oh, I've experienced so much, and I know what I'm talking about, or whatever. But I'm just coming from a place of, I've experienced either the same thing or similar things, or as far as I can relate and conceptualize of or what someone else is saying, I've experienced the same thing. And this is kind of why I'm always very wary and careful about who I talk to, about what I talk about, because I'm the type of person that I instantly relate with people and I mirror them, and then we become one because I can be the perfect mirror and reflection. But I also start to shed aspects of and light upon my own experiences, and that is not always necessary or appropriate for the person, for the level, for where they are at, for the level of engagement and the level of awareness. But this is just how I am. I operate in all extremes. So sometimes I'm very calm, and then I will have bursts, even within this calmness, because I am the eye of the hurricane. So even within the calmness, I will start talking about things that are very deep, so deep that they shake people to their core. And if I'm not careful about what I'm doing and where I'm touching upon, people will jump to conclusions of, at first they will feel, oh my god, yes, but then it's like, oh shit, this is too much. Oh god, this guy must be crazy. Which I understand, the process that happens here. So that's why nowadays I try to take it back several notches, and if I do let things slip out, it's with people who I know are ready for it, even if they think that they are not. So yeah, this was fucking beautiful. This was unexpected in that I didn't expect the conversation to go this way. As in, they started talking about my life, my experiences. So yeah, this was just like almost kind of bizarre for me, but also like, yep, yerp. So okay, let's get back to the main point. Zigzag, the falling through the bed thing. I have experienced this as well as anything and everything in association with that. And like I said before, like, just because I say things like, man, I've experienced all this shit, like, I'm not trying to come off of like, I'm this shit or whatever, because in truth, like, we're all this shit. We just gotta realize it. Okay? Okay. So, this sinking down is something that happens whenever you're starting to go out of body. That's just one of the many things that you can experience is the sinking. Also, you like, and then you touched upon the spinning, and then we'll go into a little bit about what the genie says here about salvia, because this is the main thing you will hear with salvia experiences is the wheel, the spinning that happens. Also, you will hear that, and then you will hear that people are on a terror ride, and that's where the respect comes in. Salvia tests your respect, your level of where you're at inside, the amount of inner work that you've done. But we'll go into that here in a minute, and the salvia talk, because I have salvia experience as well. But yes, the falling through the bed will happen, as well as many things can happen here. You can experience, falling to the fucking left, falling to the right, like weird shifts in like gravity and awareness. It's kind of like being on an elevator and you feel like that fucking shift happen for gravity. And this can happen as well as like, going upwards. I will say that whenever I was first tapping into out-of-body experiences, because of the level that I was at the time, what I experienced was intense vibrations. More intense than any kind of physical vibration that you can think of. It was like words fail to describe these vibrations. They're vibrations of an etheric level, and touching upon the spirit and the soul. And as with, anybody who delves into like kind of deeper trance or deeper levels of meditation, and as well as astral travel or lucid dreaming, you know what I'm talking about when I say that there's a certain level where you get too excited or your mind gets too involved, and then you start to associate that feeling with bodily feelings, and then you pull yourself back into the body. And this is just going to be a process, part of a process, something that happens as you start to dive into this realm, this reality that was always there, that you didn't know about, because you were never taught about. So it's very much like a taste. You have to become acquainted to the quality and the taste of these things. This felt experience of being in a lucid dream, of operating within a lucid dream, but then also operating within like an astral aspect where you are fully within what I call, what many people have called the second body or the astral body, where you are in the here and now, but you are not within your body. So there's a different level. I like to describe it as a flavor. There's a different flavor between lucid dreaming and astral traveling. And this is just comes down to experience. Like, you're going to experience for yourself what this is like, and this is you have to do that in order to differentiate between the two. Otherwise, you're going to get caught up in thinking that you're astral traveling whenever you're just within a lucid dream. And I've seen this a lot within certain people's YouTube videos where they think they have astral traveled or have experienced certain things, but it's clear that they're still operating within a level of allowing their subconscious and inner psyche to dictate their influences there. So yeah, like super fucking awesome that you guys are talking about some of this shit, because this is the shit that I'm all about. But I'm also, I go through stages, and like we all do. Like I said in my last video, like, we're all gonna go through our processes. So, sometimes I'm able to relate with people a little bit better. At other times, I'm gonna be engaged with deep level stuff inside of myself. And when I say myself, I mean like I go inside to where I become the outside. And it's kind of like the donut hole like flip flops and becomes the donut, or whatever kind of imagery you want to draw upon there. But sometimes I'm becoming more and more aware that it's not always necessary, or it's not always appropriate, like I said before, to engage so deeply with certain things. So I will try not to do that here, even though that's what's burning right now within me, and really screaming inside of me, to let that out and let people to let that be known. But I always am reminding myself, or something or someone reminding me, or whatever. There's really no difference there, but that there is a time and place for everything. There is an appropriateness for everything. And that's not to say like you should always hold back, but that is to say that sometimes, at times, you will find the levels and layers and the depths and dimensions, and it's all a feeling out process. You'll feel when it's right, and then you'll just go. You don't need to think about it. And this is the fucking beauty of the Mayan Janabadan. You don't need to fucking think about it. Like, just go. This is what he does, like in beauty. He touches upon shit like Zigzag said. Just comes out of fucking left field, and it's like, oh my god, of course. How did I not see this shit before? But Zigzag, you too. Like, you say shit sometimes, it's like, dude, like, why didn't I fucking think of that before, man? So yeah, let's talk a little bit about, I guess, my salvia experiences. What the genie said there with the spinning, that's very accurate. And okay, my process right now nowadays with it, how I utilize this plant spirit medicine, because this is how I view things. If I am going to ingest or intake things, it's for a purpose, and this is just the transition that we have to really become very acutely aware of, is that we are doing everything for a purpose and for a reason. So we make our actions not just heartfelt, like absolutely like rooted in love and in the heart, but also in a realization that we're doing it for a reason and a purpose. And that's not to say that you need to always be like bullet point, pinpoint, fucking professor and teacher type person, but sometimes you just gotta let go and allow the flow. So there's a balance there. You have to find the balance within those two things, the homeostasis. So the first times that I started experimenting with salvia, I experienced all these things with spinning, with the craziness, with the basically it was a reflection of not knowing how to engage with it. So I was in everyone who experiences salvia, because salvia is the divinorum, right? It's the diviner sage. So you have to understand how to work with these things. There's an appropriate level of dosage, but also there's at times where you have to throw caution to the wind and just go all in. And this is where the ayahuasca ceremonies come into play here. Like these are the times where you just throw caution to the wind. This is probably a talk for another time, but because I do have a lot to say with ayahuasca and the ceremonies involved and how that is traditionally engaged. The Ikarus, true shamans and fake shamans, because there's a lot of fucking fake shamans out there, and I also want to give a shout out to God damn it, I can't remember the name of the book. It's Graham Hancock's first book that he wrote. That he said it was downloaded to him from an ayahuasca experience. This is going to be one of the most profound books you ever read in your life if you give it the chance. It's called Entanglement. Please read that book. So yeah, with ayahuasca, I have not engaged in ayahuasca because, like I said, there's a time and place, there's an appropriateness, there's a feeling. Like I've read enough of people's experiences, not just experiences, I've read people's books that they have written about all of their ayahuasca ceremonies and whatnot. And so I'm not afraid of it or anything like that. It's just we are both kind of like polarities, so we will both come and meet whenever it is time to do so. But whenever that happens, that changes everything for both of us, but essentially for everyone that uses ayahuasca, because every time I find a new chemical, or in my lifetime, in this embodiment, every time I found a new plant, a new chemical, a new experience, I've always been very deeply aware that what I am experiencing, I am changing and adding to and becoming a part of all of us who also partake in or intake in that same thing. And this was the exact same experience for me, just in fucking coffee. And the Abaddon here spoke of his experience a little bit with coffee as well. So this was really big for me whenever I started to get into coffee off of energy drinks, like bullshit energy drinks, like Monsters or whatever. It was it's always a very spiritual thing for me because whenever I intake something within me, I go very deep with it, and I test it. And when I say test it, I mean that I draw upon the core essence of that chemical or essence or spirit, and then we have some face to face time, some engagement where and it's an attunement where we come to know each other. I know what that spirit and chemical and awareness is about, but also it understands, where I'm coming from, and that the only reason I'm doing anything is for all of us because I don't see any separation. So then the mood changes instantly once the spirit understands my true essence, and intent is all about intent. No matter what you do in life, it's all about intent. So yeah, okay, back to the salvia. Whenever I first started experimenting with it, I was in my fucking days where I was still, I wouldn't say necessarily indoctrinated as much as enslaved. Yes, that's the correct word. I was enslaved, and also the correct terminology is I was accepting that. I was allowing it. So my kind of rebellion was finding these shamanic experiences and realizing who I was, realizing who the self is, who we all are, how we all are connected. So with salvia, that is a lot of people will kind of compare it to the intensity of DMT. But that's not really an accurate assessment because DMT, and as far as just raw DMT and smoking or ingesting it, not doing it with ayahuasca or an MAOI inhibitor where you ingest it, which is what ayahuasca is, and the capi, I think it's a bark. So at first, the salvia will rip your ego, as in your persona, as in who you thought you were. It will rip it from your mentality and your ability to conceive of something like that. And it will place it in something just random, like salvia world, where you're part of the salvia experience, or for me, I was placed in a weird thing where I was an atom within a chair, and like I was absolutely completely convinced. This is just one of the experiences I had where this was my reality. I was just a part of a molecule in a chair, and that's what I was going to be for the rest of my existence. And so there wasn't really any debating or contemplating. It's just like the felt experience, like that. Okay, then that's what I got to do. Like what the fuck? And then eventually you come out of it, and you're kind of like with many of these medicines, like there's going to be layers of your psyche, and there's going to be only so much that you can bring back, like memory wise, until you start to dive deep within going back into these states with and without the help of these, what I like to call aids or little helpers. Because once you really start to tap into it for yourself, you realize, ooh, I have access to all of my fucking memories. And not just of this embodiment either. But like I like to say, this is a process. This is easier said than done. So it's going to take many different shapes and forms for many different people, and the kind of blockages and constructs that they have allowed to infect them and corrupt them, and what they have agreed to go upon to go along with. And as far as belief structures and BS. So yeah, also with the salvia, I would break out into like deep sweats, and thinking back upon this, like there's probably some extreme detox that was going on there that was much needed at the time with all the fucking monsters and shit that I was drinking. But also just the salvia in and of itself, and doing so much of it, and it's like I say with medicine, like uh, everything is basically medicine. It's just the potency. Like you got to realize that there's some very very potent medicines. You gotta understand and realize that venom, snake poison, that's an extreme medicine that will clear your central nervous system. That will clear so many things. But obviously, what we have all been led to believe about snake poison, the venom. Oh, it's a killer. It'll kill you. You gotta have the fucking antidote. You are the goddamn antidote, okay? So yeah, nowadays how I use salvia is I do small amounts and I combine it with DMT, the smokable kind, with Mary Jane, with Nicotiana rustica, and then we enter in a deep communion. And the experience that I have with that is it's an assessment. It's okay. Where are you at right now inside? What kind of work have you done? And this is like it blows through my fucking barriers of like my limitations of how I view things with the limited mind. And it's like raw, like the essence of looking at things with ultimate clarity and authenticity. Like, okay, this is where you're at right now. This is what you're able to handle, and then I'm always, because of these the relationship I have developed with these things. I reach a point where it's like, okay, this is where I'm at. This is the work that you have done. Do you want to go deeper? And if I agree with that, then we go into the inner landscapes. So yeah, that's basically all I wanted to talk about with this. Shout out to these two fucking badasses. Goddamn, like watching your guys' content, connecting with you guys, like it's helped me so fucking much. Not just me, like when I say me, I mean like the all. So you guys have helped a lot of people, even if you don't realize it. In this now and in the future, you guys have helped a lot of fucking people rediscover what's really going on within themselves. So yeah. really really beautiful to see you guys start talking about a little bit about shamanics and diving into dream time a little bit and using certain aids and divination tools and plant spirit medicines. So yeah, you guys are fucking badass. Y'all are badass. Y'all, y'all. Uh, uh, you're very much stronger than what you know, and we go through our stages of feeling, like I said previously in my other video, like depressed or discouraged. But just remember the truth within yourself, in your core, and that we are all connected. So you can draw upon anything for inspiration at any moment. Like, realize the power that you have in your mind to draw upon anything and everything. You can create so much. Like, you are so much more powerful. When I say power, I just mean your level of awareness and influence. So, yeah. Keep on doing you, and keep on being true to what you know is within you. Deep love to y'all. Peace.